Hi, everybody. We're going to go over the lesson shopping for clothes. So our lesson today is about, how we're going to buy clothes and how we can use English, to look for clothes or buy clothes and to ask about certain things such as size or color or the type of clothes. So we're going to cover some of that today. So the first sentence that we have here is we are saying, excuse me. So this is us approaching somebody in the clothing store that we're in. So excuse me is just it's a very polite phrase to use um, towards somebody who may be busy. You're asking them if you can have a little bit of their time. So excuse me, I'm looking for a pair of, and then you want to give a clothing item. Now, right here, a pair of, this is going to be for dual sets of clothing. So think shoes. So we're going to use shoes with a pair of. And we can say shoes. We can also use a pair of, pants. Pants are going to be considered a dual item of clothing because of mainly because of the legs and how it's stitched together. So a pair of pants, and even like if you're looking for sunglasses, you would say a pair of sunglasses since there's one, two. So a pair of just means two. Now, again, this is going to be optional, but you need it with shoes or pants. With these are when if we just use this is singular items of clothing like shirts or sweaters or jackets. So I did want to explain that. Now I'm going to go ahead and start here again from the beginning. Excuse me, I'm looking for Uh, and I'm just going to pick a singular item of clothing. So I'm going to say jacket. I'm looking for a jacket. I'm looking for a jacket. Excuse me, I'm looking for a jacket. Now, if I'm looking for shoes, I'm going to say, excuse me, I'm looking for a pair of shoes. Next, we have the question. If you come up to the store clerk and you ask them, excuse me, I'm looking for a jacket, they may ask you this question, do you have any preference? Now, preference, there's many different types of jackets. There's leather jackets. There are like suit jackets, cashmere jackets. There's many different types. So this is what preference is going to mean. What do you prefer? What do you want? What kind of jacket do you want? So once they ask you that, do you have any preference? Then you can explain to the store clerk what you want. And right here, you can start your sentence with I prefer. I prefer. What kind of jacket do you like? Well, I like leather jackets, so that is going to be the type here. I prefer, and I forgot something here. I need to put uh, I need to put there. Now we're not going to use with dual sets of clothing. We'll get to that in a second. I prefer I prefer a leather jacket. I prefer a leather jacket. Let's go back to a dual item, such as shoes. Excuse me, I'm looking for a pair of shoes. Do you have any preference? Many different types of shoes as well. Tennis shoes, we have loafers, we have Crocs, we have boots, several different types of shoes. Now, in this case, I don't want to use a, so I'm going to get rid of a. I prefer tennis shoes. I prefer tennis shoes. So do remember with the plural items of clothing, you are not going to need a. Now, the next question that we have here is how about this, these, then the color ones. This is the store clerk asking you if you prefer the clothing item that she or he has picked out. And we're going to use this. We are going to use this for the singular items, shirts, sweaters, jackets. And we're going to use these for the dual items, pants, glasses, shoes, stuff like that. So do remember that. I'm just going to write that here. These are for singles, and these are for dual items. We're going to go back to jacket here. So I prefer a leather jacket. I prefer a leather jacket. Now at this point, the store clerk picks out a jacket. They have a jacket in their hands, and they're going to say, how about this black one? How about this black one? Using my color black. And then you've got one, which is acting as a pronoun here. So as you can see, we got S at the end. If you use ones, this is going to mean for the dual items. How about this black one? Now for shoes, we would say, how about these black ones? So we're going to have the S at the end, of course, for a dual item of clothing. Okay, now continuing on with the lesson, our store clerk has just asked us, how about this black one, if it's a jacket, or how about these brown ones, they're shoes. So the store clerk is asking you, are these okay? Are these nice? Do you like these? There's two answers in which you can give. If you like it, if you like the way it looks, you can say, yes, that looks, I need to put an S here. It's an optional S. Yes, that looks good. Yes, that looks good. So we're saying that because you are away from the clothing item. The store clerk, she or he is holding the clothing item. So they say this, how about this black one? You are standing away from it. So you would say, yes, that looks good. Now remember, if it is a singular item, such as a jacket, make sure that you use the S at the end of look. That was kind of the mistake I just made a second ago. For those, we want to use this to demonstrate or to indicate a dual item of clothing, such as shoes. So the store clerk has two brown shoes. How about these brown ones? Yes, those look, no S at the end of look, good. Yes, those look good. If you want to say no, the cashier has the jacket or the shoes, but you don't like the color, let's just stick with shoes. How about these brown ones? And you don't like the color brown. Maybe you want black shoes. In that case, you would say, I know I'd rather have black ones. Remember, we're using the S at the end of one to demonstrate to correspond with a dual item of clothing. With a jacket, we would use a. How about this black one? No, I'd rather have a brown one. So no S at the end of this one that's acting as a pronoun. Now, rather, you're using I'd rather have. This is your choice. You don't want brown, you want black. I'd rather have black. Um, so if you don't want blue pants but you want black pants, you'd say I'd rather have black ones. So rather is going to be a word that we use to demonstrate kind of our choice of what we want, preferred to another substitute. Now, the next question you can ask, if you really like what the store clerk has for you, if you really like that black jacket, you can ask them about size. So I'm sticking again with jacket. Do you have that? Because we are referring to the jacket that we already know about. Do you have that in is optional here with size. And then size. Let's say you want a large. We can write large here. Do you have that in a large? Or do you have that in large? Either way, it's okay. I've heard people say it both ways, so you're going to be okay either way. And also the word size is optional too. It's up to you if you'd want to use it. Do you have that in a large? Do you have that in a medium? Do you have that in small? So many variations that you can use when asking this question. Now, size number, this is mostly going to be dual items of clothing like pants. They usually come they usually come in inches or centimeters. So in America, I want to say the inches are 34, whereas in Korea it's I believe it's centimeters, and that would be, I think a 34 is maybe an 84 in centimeters. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, most times when you ask this question, it is going to be for dual items of clothing. So we're going to do pants for this question. So pants. Do you have those? We want to use those in size, and then you want to give your number. I'll just say 84. Do you have that in size 84? Do you have that? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have those in size 84? Do you have those in size 84? I made a mistake. Now, the same thing with shoes as well. Do you have those in size? Shoes are going to be a little different. I think we go by milliliters here. So we'll say 260 or 260. Do you have those in size 260? Do you have those in size 260? Now, as I said earlier, this question is mostly going to apply to dual sets of clothing, but there is one other item of clothing, a belt. A belt will be a singular item of clothing. So if we're gonna say belt, we're gonna use that. So because a belt is a singular item of clothing, so in that case you would say, do you have that in size 84? do you have that in size 84? So yes, a little bit tricky, especially with the that and the those, but the main thing to remember with that, those, is that it is something away from you, and that is going to correspond to a single item, while those is going to correspond more to a dual item like pants. The same thing with this and these. This will refer to an item which is close to the speaker, and these will refer to a dual item which is close to the speaker. Okay, everybody, so we have just asked the store clerk whether they have the clothing item in our size. And if the store does have that clothing item in stock, if they do have it, they'll answer you saying, yes, I believe we do. Now, when we say I believe, then they're thinking, yes, probably. There's a strong probability that we have it. If they say, yes, we do, then it's definite. They know 100% for sure that they have the clothing item. Then they say, here you are, and that's just them giving you the clothing item. So they'll say, here you are. If they do not have the clothing item in your size, they're going to say, no, I'm sorry, because it's a bit of an inconvenience for you. You want this clothing item, but the store does not have it, so they will apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. They will say, we're out of stock. Out of stock means they just do not have the clothing item. They may have it later, but for right now, in this present moment, they do not have it. We're going to go ahead and say that they said, yes, I believe we do, and they give you the clothing item. Then you can thank the person. You can say thank you or thank you very much if you want to give it kind of a strong expression of gratitude. You can also ask, how much is it if it's a single item of clothing? Or how much are they if it's a dual item of clothing? Now, most times the price tag is usually going to be attached to the clothes, so I don't think you'll have to ask this question, but still, it's a good question to know. Maybe you'll get some clothes without a price tag. And then, of course, the store clerk will give you the price if the price is needed. So they will give you the price, and we'll just say, dollars, that's going to be the American currency. So let's say the leather jacket, those can be a little expensive. But let's say you found a good deal. So we'll just say 50. Your leather jacket costs $50. So they will tell you $50. How much is it? $50. If it's a pair of shoes, how much are they? $50. Two ways you can respond to this. You can say, that's a good deal, which means you like that price. That is a good price to you. And you can also tell the store clerk, I'd like to try it on. I'd like to try it on. So that's if it's a single item of clothing. If it's a dual item of clothing, like shoes, you would say, I'd like to try them on, which means you want to put on the shoes and yeah, try them on, see if they fit good. Now, if you do not like the price, if you do not like $50 for a leather jacket, You can give this expression, you can say that's a little expensive. That's a little expensive. If you're saying a little, it just means it's a little expensive. If you say that's expensive, that's much more direct. That means that this $50 jacket should probably, for to you, should probably cost $5. So saying that's a little expensive means yes, the price is a little high, but if you say that's expensive, then it's really high. And it's another phrase that you can use, can I get a discount? If you find something to be way too expensive, you can ask the store clerk, can I get a discount? Can I get a discount? That's a little expensive. So yes, these are some of the expressions in which you can use when you are shopping for clothes. So there's a lot of things to remember, such as the demonstrative pronouns and the sizes. So yes, this unit can be a little bit challenging, but I'm sure you will do well. And I do want to thank you very much for listening and following along. And be sure to check out your lesson wrap up.